Welcome everyone and welcome to All in All United. Nico, Phil, Simeon, Chef, gentlemen, welcome to panel. And I mean, we have the unenviable task of trying to maintain a certain cool because we know, this show is PG-12. All right, so we had the responsibility of keeping it in and trying to be as politically correct and as diplomatic as possible in this therapy session here. Right now, I wanted to theme this evening a Manchester Derby disaster, right? Because Haaland and Foden score hat tricks on the same day, you know. De Bruyne had a masterclass. Grealish actually looked like 100 million player today.
Look, I ain't gonna say a whole 100. I ain't gonna say a whole 100, but he look
close. Bad. Yeah, close
he
state.
Look bad. He look bad.
Close
he
state.
Look bad.
You know. It was like a world class unit versus a project at its infant stage. City were a real threat, and every time they broke forward, every time they had the ball, every time they attacked us, they looked as though something would have come out of it, and it really, there was a clear indicator of how far behind, and I was telling Chef this, how far behind, we are in terms of, where City is, if I could put it like that. I mean, I did use the analogy just now, a world-class unit versus a project in the infant stage. And I guess that is just how far it is, and we gotta accept that. And probably we might get into why we might get into questioning Ten Hag's naivety, or his belief that we could have challenged with how he set up. But before we get into everything, fellas, it's been a while. The international break is now behind us. And even before that, we had, some postponements due to the death of the Queen, and I don't know how much that would have affected us. I don't know. But we're here now after, quite some time, talking about Manchester United football, that is, because I know we would have had a show a week or so ago talking about, some other football things, which was real good. So, Nico, how we doing?
Yeah, tough day at the office. You're not being hopeful, but I was still a bit reserved. So I kind of manage it. I kind of manage the emotions during the day because I guess I know you could have swing anyway. Now. I know you could have swing anyway. I didn't know you could have swing so far and so wide, but I more or less manage it after the defeat. I more or less manage it okay today. Normally I might have been more sulking, but for some reason, I saw some a bit of glimmer, and I guess we were getting to that. Amongst the lot of garbage, I saw a few things that hopefully that I think Ten Hag could work with. But tough day at the office.
All right. I see Riyadh on the inside. Riyadh, good night. Thanks for joining, man. He's saying here, good night, fellas. Did anyone really expect us to beat City today? Today showed that we are still not mentally rigid enough. All right. He's saying not full on because at least we saw some fight today. I'm going to tell you something. Before I move on to your first question, Riyadh, if we expected to beat City, we've seen it happen before, So it wasn't, for me, it wasn't out of the realm of possibility. But as Nico said, you hope for the best, and you temper your expectations, yeah. I run on the inside, good night, man. Yeah, but it was a tough one. Simeon, I'll even Phil for last. Phil looking 200.
I was kind of prepared for two reasons. The last time I heard like someone said Bruyne wasn't world class. I'm still thought De Bruyne was world class. So I'm like, hmm, we play them next. And then, we have Haaland, who we talking about this game. How long? I mean, Haaland is a beast. I mean, and it's one game he wanted. His dad was embarrassed by United, I guess. So, Haaland wanted. So every time I figured we had a chance, I just thought about that inspiration and that. I mean, they wanted to beat us. I mean, the way Foden celebrated that first goal, I mean, you figure, well, they used to, beating us, but they wanted this game, I think, more than we thought they wanted this game. And one more thing, like, I don't only play video games as much, but I play the FIFA. I play on pro level, at the pro level. I was winning, good. And then I played on, what's the next class?
Low
Legendary.
class?
Legend.
Oh,
Oh.
legendary.
Legendary.
Okay.
I start the game, 10 minutes in, start over. Start over. And watching this game, that's how I felt watching this game. Is like, you saw the speed of the game increase. The passing lanes we have gone. Like, the same feeling you had playing that game, the same thing you saw on the field today. That for us wasn't ready that level of, I mean, then first closed down fast. I mean, that level of class, that fellas wasn't ready for it. I mean, you could look up and down, but like, that fellas wasn't ready. I mean, at the end of the day, they wasn't ready for that.
Yeah. Chef?
Okay, so you know what? Let me change my vibes. Let me start off by bigging up our Trini legend and Manchester United legend Dwight York for winning the Australian Cup on his first way out. Well done, well done, well done.
Yes.
I
Big up to
am
the rookie.
extremely proud of him, and
York and Latters.
York and Latters. That's right.
Yeah.
So let me big them up on that. Right, that's out of the way. So I wouldn't say I was we're gonna beat City, but I thought we could have put up a better fight. We could have been more structured. We could have been more much.
There were things that could have been done to prevent what happened.
Yeah. There were things that could have been done. Also, the players didn't. The players just, I don't know if it's just me, but the players just felt real off today, boy. At the start of the game. Men, like, there was still an international break. It's like, our defenders, men who we could normally rely on. Also, we could give praises, but when I saw the starting lineup, I was like, yo, we're not gonna rest this Ericsson. Or Ericsson playing non-stop that.
You wasn't the rest Ericsson about everybody, right? Ericsson, you rest Ericsson today, right?
Yeah.
I guess at the end of the day, what I mean, in hindsight, you can rest anybody,
True. Correct. No, but I'm just saying what I will, because you rightfully say anybody could get rest. But I just think, saying from my standpoint now, watching Ericsson playing every game for us, then he went off an international break and he playing non-stop also. Then when we come back, Reem said something and listen, Ten Hag, he going to learn. So it's a hard lesson to learn. But people often think that if you change your style of play to tailor to the opposition, is that you're buying into the opposition. I don't think so. I think that is why the word is called tactics. So the same way you're going to play Aston Villa cannot be the same way you're going to play Bournemouth or City. We know what has worked in the past for us against City was a low block. We fight like hell in the midfield. we make it rugged, and we try to squeeze them passing lanes on them. Um, the discipline to do that today just was not there. I can't understand as much as others, and I don't know Scotty is my player. But this was not, and you know what? In the past, he has had pretty decent games against City. But I just find that, and you know, coaches that's afraid to make subs. Dan, I was making a sub within the first 30 minutes, you know. I was making subs. You can't be afraid to pull men because it was going. Listen, from ball one, we could have get ball, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's basically me.
All right, and before I go to Phil, Red's in here, Ten Hag said it best. When the game started, they seemed afraid. All right, we'll get to that. Arun saying here, I didn't outright thought we was going to win, but I thought the days of getting 5+ goals are over. Yeah, yeah. He also saying intimidation was a big factor. Our guys were not up for the challenge today. Yeah, it's clear to see. I guess the results, proving this, right? Phil, talk to me with this scene.
Yeah. Good night, everyone. Today was one day that we want to forget, but we won't forget, right? Because today was a day of men's versus boys. It was a debut Manchester derby for a lot of the guys. It was Ten Hag's first Manchester derby. Um, Malacia, Ericsson,
Gallo.
Da, Dallo, really?
Yeah, yeah. He
Okay.
never
Martinez,
played in a derby.
Martinez,
Martinez as well
Anthony.
too. Anthony. So yeah, it was a debut Manchester derby for most of the guys, including our manager. And at the end of the day, it's only 3 points drop. That's how I see it. That's the most positive spin I can put on it. It's only 3 points drop. It doesn't define our season. At the end of the day, it shows us the levels that we must get to in order to compete with the cheat code known as Erling Haaland, right? It shows us that we're at least a good 2 years away from at least being close to City's level, right? A lot of things factored into today. And don't get me wrong, with regards to the Queen's past, may she rest in peace, and international break, it did kind of slow down our momentum. So that may be one of the factors that led to us, being dismantled today. Um, I think from when Dallo got that yellow card in the first minute, I was
Yep.
like, bruv, it's only the first friggin' minute. Give him a warning. What are you giving him a yellow card for? And as soon
Yep.
as Dallo got that yellow card, you know what City started doing? Passing the ball to Jack Grealish. And Jack
Yep.
Grealish looking like English Ronaldinho today, right? So yeah, no, don't get me wrong. A lot of fans phoned me today when the whistle blew. They weren't looking for me prior to the international break. Those fans know who they are. They
Yeah,
they,
of
they
course.
Yeah,
found
yeah. Same here.
they found me. They blew up my phone. They blew up my social media. They want to know where Big Phil is. I'm still here. At the end of the day, like I mentioned 2 minutes ago, it's only 3 points drop, and we came up against not only the best team in the league, but we came up against Erling Haaland that is scoring hat tricks for fun at home for Manchester City, right? So it is what it is. Only 3 points drop, and we move from here.
Yeah. So so let's get into it, guys, and you all who view and don't forget to like and share. We appreciate that, right? So Ten Hag had this to say after the game. Well, he among other things, right? But this is what he had to say. He's saying here it's quite simple. It's a lack of belief. When you don't believe on the pitch, then you can't win games. That is unacceptable, right? So taking that quote into consideration, Do you all think, and I know Chef would have kind of alluded to it earlier, do you all think that Ten Hag, got it wrong? Or do you think that the players did not believe enough in executing the game plan? Because when you look at our passes or decisions, it really showed a lack of belief in oneself. So was it Ten Hag who got it wrong? Or was it the players who got it wrong? Where are we on this?
I think the players kind of, from the get-go or even prior to this derby, I think they already set themselves up to say, you know what? It's Manchester City. They're going to have the most possession, and we have to use this tactic of hitting them on the counter-attack, right?
Ole ball.
Exactly, right? At the end of the day, yes, you are right. But if you go into a game thinking so negative, you're going to get a result like today.
Yeah.
So I must say it's more the latter. The players did not believe in themselves. They didn't believe in each other, and I got to point out one player that truly disappointed me today, and that was Raphael Varane. Raphael Varane was absolutely shit today. I'm sorry.
Phil, no.
Yep.
I cannot have that, Phil.
Nope.
I cannot have that.
Raphael
Because
Varane was responsible for shutting down the space between Phil Foden for one of the goals and also Erling Haaland. My disappointed player.
For Erling Haaland goal. If I'm right.
No. There were two goals that Varane should have shut down earlier, right? But also Varane wasn't also the worst player today. I think Scott McTominay got exposed today as well too. But that's we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later on as well, because I saw Scott reverting to his old ways of just jogging back.
Yeah, Scott was terrible, boy. Wow.
Again, spin.
Again, spin.
Let me. Can I go on Varane? Like, on the first look, a lot of these defenders looked really terrible. When you watch the first time you see it go, like what were you doing? When you go back and you watch the replay, the angles it's kind of like a professional level won't score a goal. It's world class. Like that goal Forza scored. Varane was there. He wasn't far off, but he wasn't close enough. He tried. That ball went around between Varane and the post. It's like, and most of these goals, that ball that Haaland scored, Varane was right there. But that ball, if he was that ball curl wrong Varane.
Also one thing that pissed me off today as well too. Yeah, Erling Haaland is a phenomenal striker. But why are we putting the likes of Luke Shaw and Christian Eriksen?
I had that written down to talk about.
But I guess that was after Varane would have left the field, right?
Yeah.
But
Even still, that was abject nonsense.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, let's be real. All of us here has played football in our life, right? Some kind of level.
Some level.
Right. Erling Haaland is a big ass white boy. He had to miss. He huge. So, and listen, he doesn't stand up one place. He's moving about.
Mobile.
He's mobile. All you're telling me, nobody picking up this man run?
It's so easy to pick up
Come now, man.
That's so easy.
So then we make an excuses for what so then we have shit defenders then.
What I'm saying, no, is the quality of the balls coming in. Remember, they're training.
I am not saying
and
no.
That trigger moments when he know to move. And when he move, is because you in your brain to your foot know something like a key. But
then what that says about our defenders? So what I say about our defenders?
Nah, passive definitely. Passive definitely, but he is so explosive that I didn't think we had any
And I
defenders
say
that can
no.
match
I
him.
rate Haaland, you know.
I going to agree with Chef because
Yeah.
you know the thing that came to mind, and this is years ago under Jose Mourinho.
Yeah.
Remember when we played Chelsea and we had Ander Herrera marking Eden Hazard? I don't know if you guys
Yes, yeah,
remember that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Ander Herrera was on Eden Hazard like white on rice. Like
Yep.
I don't know, boy. Eden Hazard could not let go of Ander Herrera, right? Another thing that got me a little bit worried as well too was whenever Martin, and this is Lisandro Martinez, right? I love him, and he's been playing well for us so far this season. In the big games versus Arsenal versus Liverpool, right? You know what Lisandro Martinez used to do in the first 5 minutes? He used to give a body chuck to the
Yeah.
like of
Jesus,
not Hazard, Jesus in the Arsenal game and Mo
Salah.
Salah, just to let you know I'm still here, right?
I hear.
I didn't see any of that from Lisandro Martinez.
No.
The
Today,
yellow card. The yellow
No,
card.
but
the
no
first
City
leg
players
was
was
tough.
close to him. If you check, City players weren't close to nobody.
but I would say,
We didn't get close
and
to
I agree with
anybody.
that point.
Our
Today
defenders
was the
didn't get
most
close to
subdued.
anybody.
Today was the most subdued Martinez has played for us in all the games so far.
Because he can
And,
find
and,
them. Like,
and you're right.
Because they're moving around so fast, right? Or the distance between attacker and defender is so far that he
Yeah.
can get close. He couldn't even get close. And
I'm going to tell you something. You see that goal?
Was today.
The goal, what was it? The second? Foden's second goal was the assist by Haaland. Was it the second or third one, boy? But Haaland gave him two.
It was
But-
the third. It was the third one.
The one what came from the left side straight over and was
Yeah.
a tap in.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I could not believe. What's the youth man name?
If Malasia could have cleared that, with his right foot, there. Don't get me wrong. There were at least 3 goals today that could have been prevented.
Well, listen, hear me now. So you telling me he couldn't defend that ball better than that?
hey,
That-
nah. If you watch that play, Malasia,
Yeah.
I mean, Malasia had his foot wrapped around him, man. And the man still scored the goal.
Chef, it looked like he could have get it.
Yeah, he
I know, I listen, of all the goals on that, you see that goal? I was like,
I watched it too,
wait.
Chef, but I still feel like he couldn't do nothing, boy.
Hey,
Yeah, I don't feel he couldn't do
use your
nothing.
right foot. Use your right
Yeah,
foot.
maybe it's right.
you
You're right.
man yellow too, the man, and yellow card too. Man, yellow card too, remember?
no, but use your right foot. Why the ball? I thought, man, so men saying, dog, he was thinking about that own goal. I said, bro,
I don't
Don't do that,
He
please.
thought in his mind he couldn't reach. I thought in his
And
mind
that,
he couldn't reach.
Yes.
that yellow card that Malasia got was because of Rashford. Rashford trying to
yes.
pass a ball
Yeah,
short,
yeah.
and
Terrible
Rashford,
pass.
Rashford trying to pass the ball without looking. And I
Yeah.
don't know why.
It's amazing that Marcus Rashford does not have the maturity within himself as a player to see, okay, I am the forward, the ball is not coming to me, and we get it overrun. Let me go closer to them fellas in the midfield and give her extra body now. That man not doing that, you know.
And Chef, as you talk about that, right? And to me, days where I will kind of put it on Ten Hag a bit, right? Because Kareem says that either the players or Ten Hag, right? I thought that because everybody see it, it wasn't working, right? We didn't have enough bodies if it's in the midfield or wherever it is.
Yeah.
We was been overrun in the midfield. To me, all right, you already had your starting 11. You see, it wasn't working. We don't have to wait till half
ball
to make
one.
a change.
From ball
Right.
one, it wasn't
To
working.
me, if you see that we begin overrun in the midfield, I just saying Casemiro had a decent international outing, right?
Yeah.
Let me put
What
extra
have you
play in
done
the
that?
midfield. Let me put extra play in the midfield. So why we
Why?
gotta wait till half time to want to make a change? To me, because
And he didn't even make
He
he didn't make the change at halftime.
yeah. So to me, to me, I honestly would have hoped that he would have started with Casemiro in the middle with
Yeah.
Scott and let me say sacrifice our attacker. Right?
Boy, I was
If it would
sacrificing.
have been
I was
if it would
sacrificing
have been
Ericsson.
Anthony or who was the other player wide?
Sancho.
Sancho. Right? I thought honestly I would not be surprised if that happened.
I
But
see.
still,
I
when
see
you
where
see during the game that it wasn't working, to me, he should have made that change. So to Ten Hag, then I would give a bit of blame to Ten Hag not making that
No,
change
Tanaka had to get some.
before halftime.
Tanaka had to get some licks today.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I didn't see any problem with the starting lineup, right? Because for some reason, yesterday, last night, I just envisioned Scott McTominay kicking Erling Haaland. I just envisioned it, and for some reason, it just did not happen today.
He wasn't close to him for the game.
One thing that we did was waste energy. We will never ever take the ball away from City's defense or anything. Why are we looking to chase Akanji and Ake and Cancelo and who was on the left? Who was on the right? Kyle Walker. Why are we looking to chase them down for? We're just playing right into City's hands. Right?
Yep.
I would have rather have the entire 9 players playing a low block and say, guys, come at us. But with the likes of Marcus Rashford and Bruno running at the City defenders, it leaves our midfield open. It leaves Scott jogging back, and then we have a midfield of De Bruyne, Gundogan, and also Bernardo Silva running at one Christian Eriksen, 30 years of age. Right? And it's not fair. But
let me just get some comments here, guys, right? So we'll keep it flowing. Jody's saying here, Jody on the inside, man, blessed night, man, thanks for joining. He's saying here, too many individual mistakes. Possession, Man City 56% to 46 from United. Shots on target, 10 for City, 8 for United. It's just that they did not carry out Ten Hag's game plan. It will come good eventually. All right. The Vendor on the inside, good night, man. He's saying tough day to day, no doubt. Arun saying here, but it was nice that they brought Casemiro to keep Ronaldo company. Oh my. The Vendor saying here, thankfully Marcel came on to make it a little easier on the eyes. Yeah, that scoreline really, it was going bad, but I mean.
Darian on the inside.
Yeah, Darian on the inside, man.
Because Manchester finally decided to slow down the game and build passes instead of trying to play into City's game a speed. Slow the damn game down.
No, but remember by that time too, Chef, we had some midfielders on the field.
Yeah.
Sure.
Darian saying here Sancho and Rashford was horrible. Dalot set himself up with the early card because most of the goals came down that side. Yeah, that is true. Alright, Jody saying here, Phil, Scotty only have height. Haaland will knock him over like a 6 feet orange cone. But guys, I want to get back to this here because my thought, right, at the start, and I mean I guess a lot of us in hindsight got agree that he should have gone a little more secure in midfield with probably bringing in Casemiro alongside McTominay, and then sacrifice one of the attacking players, right? But what Ten Hag seemed to be saying here is that he believes in his philosophy, right? And he believes that if the players showed up today, right, then possibly the result would have been different. And if the players who didn't believe in the philosophy, who didn't believe in the game plan, right, that caused the kind of shit show that we saw today, right? Because I mean, I remember watching the game and I remember talking to Chef and saying, well, hey, Oli had a low block. And Oli, in recent years, was the only manager to experience that kind of success against City. And probably, Ten Hag didn't respect City to play that way. But Ten Hag saw this same 11 against high-flying Arsenal and Liverpool, and he put them to the sword, right? So he was expecting the same, with that same kind of confidence. Because it's just the other day, them fellas and them, we're not talking about last season, they beat Liverpool and Arsenal. You know what I'm saying? So he was expecting, right? So he was expecting that these guys, with that understanding, to show up and put in that same kind of performance, closing down spaces. I didn't see nobody closing down spaces as a team. We didn't see nothing happening as a team.
No pressing at all.
Yeah, no pressing. I didn't see nobody on the ball was looking confident and assured. Nobody
No,
today.
we were just waiting for City to bring the ball, to ping
Exactly.
it, bing, 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 goal, bing, 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 goal.
And it's almost as though, we didn't realize that City kind of cipher what we game plan was because the couple that are long balls from Bruno and Ericsson, them thing get cut off so easy. And we wasn't even all right. Well, okay, so that's how we're working. Let me try something. We didn't even do that, and that is good. And that is the lack of belief that I believe Ten Hag was talking about. So whether McTominay did start,
had no leadership at all.
So whether McTominay did start or Casemiro did start, I feel with the same mentality that we went into the game with, I feel the result would have been the same thing. That is this is why I agree with Ten Hag when he say we lack belief. We lack belief.
No,
you could have put 10 defenders, and I feel City and knock all over we and still come and score.
I can use an example, right? Because I can use Chef as an example. If I come to Chef and I ask Chef to help me prepare a meal that he is great at, right? And he teach me and he tell me that you got to put it at this specific temperature and you got to use these specific ingredients, and I make this meal really good. And then a year later, I challenge Chef to make that exact same meal better than me. And I'm trying to say, Erik Ten Hag learned this philosophy under Pep Guardiola at Bayern Munich. A lot of people need to realize that. So, in terms of Erik Ten Hag using this philosophy against the guy who taught him that, right? I don't see it working out initially. Well, let's say 3-4 years down the line, and hopefully the Man United players of that time would have at least had that philosophy ingrained into them. I could see us then maybe challenging Pep Guardiola on his philosophy, right? But at the end of the day, some of these players today were exposed. Some of them look very terrible today as well too. So,
let me ask you all something now. Would you all drop Scott?
Yes.
Even though,
bring in Casemiro.
Yeah, I think it's, even if you drop him or you don't drop him, for me, right? I didn't see, to be honest, a much more improved display from Casemiro, to be honest, right?
True, but don't forget, Casemiro was playing week in, week out for Real Madrid, right? So he was at least able to get a couple of games running, right? Casemiro, I would give him 3 or 4 games running, right? And don't forget, football is a cutthroat business, right? You barely make one mistake. I don't care if you play 5 or 6 games in a row, right? That played really well. You made 1 or 2 mistakes in a very crucial game, but for me, some coaches will put you on the bench. So start Casemiro versus our next game is Everton, right?
Everton, yeah.
Everton.
Because I guess
League
Ten Hag
games
would have
against
done
Everton.
that. Yeah, I think Ten Hag would have done that with Fred in the earlies. He would have done that even with Maguire after 2 games. Sure, my Shaw was a bit injured, but we saw that he have that kind of cutthroat, mentality also. So if it is that he found that Scott didn't do his job today, then possibly, and I wouldn't be surprised. Luke Shaw, but no question about Luke Shaw. Come down. He Luke Shaw come on and he come on last year was on yellow. Yeah.
Luke Shaw look like, boy, why are you doing here?
Luke Shaw.
Like Luke Shaw have a cool,
Let me just get some of the comments coming in here. All right. Riyadh saying here, I think the players were still affected by the last 2 matches against City.
Nah, man.
Which
They were
player?
just saying, they've been, they've been just saying here, let's be thankful for Pep telling them fellas to take it easy and make all them subs. Because if they had continued, it would have been an EPL record for goals scored. I think the record for the 2 hat tricks was done a record already. Shucks, man.
When Pep, I feel like people don't fully
No, but hear this,
understand
right?
how Pep does think, you know. Pep
No,
don't
but
have no
hear,
heart, you know.
no, but hear this now. I was watching up until which minute, and I was saying, please don't tell me Pep not gonna make no sub this game, you know, because he almost didn't sub nobody, you know,
Yeah.
and that'd be a
And
next kind of embarrassment, you know.
he sub men when it was like them no have nothing
I
in
think
there.
De Bruyne was the first sub.
The man
Yeah,
first-
De Bruyne and
sub-
Foden.
the man first sub was Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker got injured, and that
Walker,
guy
yeah.
That was in the first half.
that was in the
Gomez.
first half.
Gomez.
Yeah, that guy Gomez. Like,
Gomez.
Yeah, but by that time we was on 4-0 down already, so he could have
Yeah.
do it.
Jody saying here, what players is only Rashford, Scotty, Bruno, Sancho, everyone else new. All right.
Right. I think that is in response to saying that the players were affected by the last 2 games
Okay.
against City.
Okay.
Someday.
They've been just saying here, Scott and Casemiro should start drop Bruno, push up Ericsson based on form. Scott and Cassie had good internationals, but I mean we can't. All we do ignore that Bruno has been. Bruno has been pretty decent.
I can't agree with that comment, Davinja. As much as I'm not a big fan of Bruno was crucial in that Arsenal game. That's all.
Yeah. Bruno has been playing well.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and it will really be hindsight to come and criticize, certain selections today because I mean, everybody was shouting McTominay praise, and he earned his pick today by merit, right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
Same way-
I wasn't
same way he
dropping him
earned-
at all for today.
yeah, I think
And that's
nobody
why,
had
that's why
any.
I asked that question. Are you now going to drop him after having one bad game?
But but to me, right? Scott would have been one of the players that would have shown that fragile type of mentality today.
Yeah.
And if Ten Hag wants to weed out that kind of mentality, then it's either Scott improve on that or he get dropped. Because he was one today that was scared. He was scared to pull the ball, to pass the ball, to challenge. He was one of the players to me that was scared.
No,
But Ericsson passing range was off today too.
off today, boy. No, I was saying if people are making comments based on our Everton game, then I can understand. But in terms of like who we should have dropped to play against City today, nobody deserves to be dropped based on international form and recent form. Nobody should have deserved to drop. But after today, some players you got to think twice about now, right?
You know what today basically show us the season now start again.
Mm-hmm.
That little run we went on was nice, but we back to we out of the clouds and we back squarely in the mud again.
And I had no problem with that. Simeon, go ahead. I see you want to say something.
No, like, I mean, see, the game was pretty much, City's game. But like one thing that I lament our team doesn't have, we don't have that sense, we play a Spanish team or some other team that when we winning, we up 2 goals, they go fake an injury, they go do something to stop the game and slow things down so they can collect themselves and get together. Like we have no player out there that can do something like. Yeah, we have no leadership, no savvy, no cost game licks. Let me lay down, let me get a 5 minutes, let me get together and change something. We have no, I know it's no timeouts in football, but still, I mean, ain't nobody there.
That's street smart kind of player.
Yeah, ain't nobody there to be like, oh, we lay down. Hey, this ain't working, man. Before we go down 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, let me change something. It's like
we tried that. Varane tried that and backfire.
And
we went.
And That's what Phil was saying too. That was so strange about Martinez and Scott. Normally, them is fellas, them willing to take that card. They will put you on the ground to let you know, hey, I hear. But it
But you
was
see, no, but you see, Chef, the thing about it is and even me, what I see with that is after that referee gave that loader card so early.
In the
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
It kind of indicates that I can't take chances with this referee because this referee going send
yeah,
you
I
off for
could
nothing.
guarantee.
You understand? Because I find that was poor
And a
officiating
derby too.
and a
And a
derby
derby.
game.
I
Yeah, that
when
was
I see
poor
that card, boy, I
officiating.
was like, this Oliver serious?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that kind of give you the kind of indicator that hey, this man carding any and everything. So you know what? Let me, kind of check myself before I do something and get sent off with this clown, all right? Because he messed up that game
Yeah.
early.
I agree.
Yeah, but I need Bruno on his, all that diving Bruno is do, all that diving and roll around. I need him to do that in that first 50 minutes. I need him to do that. Let's whisper to the sideline, hey, coach, something else. Let me do something else. I mean, because, like, therefore I just take it and take it. I'm like, come on, y'all, do something. I mean,
Yeah, I thought Ten Hag would have been the one to change something. But
yeah.
Ten Hag himself, like he was shell shocked. Because he had
Well,
already know what's going on.
you're expecting that the players go react now because I mean, you remember these are players that have been
After about
performing.
after 3 and you see nothing happening. Oh God, let me stem itself now.
And what was a bit frustrating as well is that when you look at City's bench, City didn't have any difference makers other than Julian Alvarez on the bench,
Yeah,
So Pep was
Yeah.
putting it all in his first 11.
yeah. Jody saying here today was a test for Scotty. Ten Hag starting on Cassie next game. Pin this comment. Alright, I hear. Gregory on the inside. Greg, thanks for joining, man. He's saying Varane looked like a deer in headlights. Yeah, Varane looked real shaky today, though. He's saying here, I'm not going to say that the early Dallo card throw off, man. Yeah, that referee, God, them just have it all for we, yeah? So, fellas,
Yeah.
let me ask all of this. So, this team, the opinions, often change and sometimes evolve on this team as games pass us. What have we learned after today? Especially, following, the little resurgence we had from Liverpool to Arsenal. Then coming into today. What we learn about, Manchester United?
For me, most importantly, gonna be what Ten Hag learn about this Manchester United team. Because as you would have said before, we beat Arsenal, we beat Liverpool. So the bit would have been between our two, right? To go against City also. So to me, I hope Ten Hag would have learned something. Even it's his first derby, and I have no problem. Your first derby, you see what the derby is like. You see the passion, the energy. So now for me, is how Ten Hag preps his teams going forward. We have struggled in our away games before he came. We have won one or two recently, but overall we struggle away. So for me, I hope that he take away that here what away from home, as much as your philosophy and as much as you believe in what you have to do, start solid. Play a solid first 15, 20 minutes as most
Manage
teams do
your
against
team.
us. Yeah, as
Manage
most
your
teams
team.
do against us. And after 15, 20 minutes when they get into the game, then you start to release your weapons. Especially against top teams. Because for me, it's not really the result today wasn't really a major surprise. What I thought I would have gotten today, which I got to a point, is that fight, that we wasn't getting last season. I think that is why I learned from Manchester United today that as much as we 4-5 down, we continue to fight. And that is why we end up 6-3. Because we still continue to fight. And to me, I could live with that point. Yes, I want the team to be better, but as we used to say before, Give me a fight now.
Last season,
Yeah,
that might end up 10.
Now I'm saying, give me a fight. Let me fight. Let me still try to score. Let me still try to put the money back foot. And I saw Anthony more or less came to the age today. Because
Second half.
Anthony would
Second
have
half, Anthony.
second half. Second half, Anthony would have taken the game to City. And second half,
Yeah.
he was good. As outside of the goal, he was good and he took responsibility. He showed the quality that he came with today. The first time I really saw what Anthony has to bring now. So to me, it's just that fight was good, and for Ten Hag to understand that the Premier League is not the Eredivisie. As much as our Champions League experience, the Premier League is a different beast,
monster.
and you have to respect it, even small, because we'll go away to Newcastle. And what we gonna do? We go play open and expansive. Like Newcastle will run
Against
us.
Newcastle?
Yeah, what telling
You ain't see on Newcastle play now.
This is what I'm saying. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna do the same thing, play open and expansive. Well, I mean, in the first 5 minutes against Newcastle, Newcastle could kill us off the same way.
Yeah.
So to me, especially away from home, to me, Ten Hag had to be mindful, just to respect your position a bit. I hope so. If he's the gangster type and say, hey, I got to play my ball, it's Ten Hag ball, whatever happen, that could be detrimental.
All right. Before I move on to Simeon with the same one, Greg saying here, what he learned is Haaland is a cheat code. Right? He's saying here there's still a lot of confidence issues amongst these players. Some of these players. Ten Hag will have to help them get their confidence back. All right. Jody saying here last season City took their foot off the pedal. All right. Gregory also saying here we need to show some desire for the entirety of the game, not the same 45 minutes thing.
Yeah.
Simeon.
We need to settle. We still taking too long to settle in games.
Yeah.
I mean, but that all goes back. Goes back to the problem we've been having for how long? Like, we still don't have that midfield Ericsson is good, but it's Ericsson, that 5-star midfield that we need, that can play consistently and has the body type to hold up, against other midfields. It's like our midfield again, we couldn't get hold of the ball. We get the ball, McTominay don't want the ball, so he just standing behind three players.
It's on hope.
Yeah, McTominay don't want the ball. Ericsson running around trying to get the ball, but City.
You get the Marco.
Yeah, they're in all the passing lanes. Like we have no guys to get the ball, run around, make a few moves and pass the ball. Like Bruno gets the ball, he wants to do it one time. We love Bruno, but his game is get the ball, one touch, attack. And that might be a game plan, but against City, it's not going to work as well. So we have a problem in midfield where we can't get a hold of a game at any point. We have no players, that can really hold the ball. And how long have we had this problem? Anytime anybody pressure us, we talk about Arsenal. Arsenal's not a good pressuring team like how Liverpool was last year, how City is this year. Like, Liverpool we played this year, it's not the same pool from last year. City is the same team there from last year plus Haaland. And see what happened to us. Let Liverpool get back to close to what they were. It's like those two teams were at a different level. So at the level today, and we didn't. Our passing didn't hold up to it.
Listen, for all the class, Kevin De Bruyne is a class player. You have no right for Kevin De Bruyne to be outrunning you. That's not his game. And he was outrunning us today. Imagine that.
Phil?
Yeah, your question was what we learned today about Manchester United. Yeah, I think I stated that earlier in the program where we are at least a good 2 or 3 levels below the standard that Pep has set with this Manchester City team, right? And like I said, today was boys versus men, and a lot of people have to realize that Ten Hag is still learning on the job. We have been getting wins away and home versus some of the big teams in the EPL, right? But at the end of the day, Ten Hag is still learning on the job. Um, I was kind of happy for Martial because he scored two today, and that kind of brings his confidence back up for the month of October. And I'll say this right now: if we win all of our games in October, I don't ever care about today's result. I don't.
True, true.
We win these next
Correct.
8 games, and this derby,
A
this
blip.
6-3,
Just a blip. Yeah.
just a blip, just a thing of the past.
We
Remember
win,
when we? No, I don't.
we win our games, and we win our games, and we move up the table.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Chef, hear this, right?
Hmm.
Why are we so bad when we bad? Like, I mean, when I say that, I mean, like when we concede, like when we bad and we concede in goals, we don't concede two. We just concede five
We
and
like
four
no,
and six.
we like a proper baddest.
Yeah, what going on? Why it is when we go on, we just go
Man,
on, we
I
go on.
understand that earlier. So most of the game today, I watched Peace finishing off my lunches, but most I was in the car, and I just scratching my head, because I like so these men they know about parking bus. Dog, we just was terrible. I hear men say about fight and strength. According to you, Reem, when we bad, we real bad.
Yeah, yeah.
And it goes to show, I think Simeon said it about having on-field leaders, having players of the kind of class to say, hey, fellas, let me slow down a little bit. Let me catch our breath. I remember when Fergie had getting beaten from City too. And Ferguson said what was the most disappointing thing to him is he had players like Rio Ferdinand and them on the pitch, and nobody said, fellas, catch your breath, slow down. We continue to press City and they continue to open us up like a yeah. So no, we need that boy. We lacking that bad. I really hope, as Phil said, that Casemiro gets a proper run. 1 or 2 games, nah. Not everybody could hit the ball the ground running. So hopefully he gets a proper run in the team now.
Let me
Yeah,
add one more thing if I can. Like you talk about running, like you can run all you want, but like the movement, if you can't track movement, you're in trouble.
That's
Like,
right.
I think we running, but we running wrong way sometimes. The man,
Yeah.
we talk to one person. I mean, where you go is the movement that he has that he make one bad move and the angle wrong. And it's like he's running all day. You can't catch up. And like we play expansive football, like you said, Chef. We up in the field. And when we lose the ball, there's no one back there to really cut off those angles. No one follows the movement. Nobody. Like Tomlin is the worst at it. He can't even be in the picture. Ericsson, not a bad heart. He can't even get back. Like the movement is what kills
I think
us.
he's so bad, man. Oh God, I think he's so bad.
I mean, he's a good player, but that's not his forte. You can't ask him. You can't ask him to chase. Then for who's it, Foden and the Barner back. I mean, and you say,
So to Simeon's point, then that is the reason we would have brought Casemiro into the team.
Yeah.
To get a player.
Could read out here, understand.
That's what he meant. This is a man that's go and study teams. That's why he's so good.
How much you pay for him? What's the price?
That was 70 million.
70 million. The Vince just saying here,
It's time
weak
will come,
mentality.
Simeon. I believe it's time will come. And it might come sooner rather than later.
The Vince just saying here, weak mentality. 2 down, heads drop. Men go on the bus. All right. He also saying here 8 more games in October. So only wins from here could be golden. Nico, yeah. So why when we bad, boy? Why when we so bad? We should be real bad when we down.
I guess it's a confidence thing. I guess
Yeah, it is a confidence thing.
the fragility mental in the team because even if you look at Rashford now coming off player of the month, right?
And
At
jump whole
least
game today.
his confidence should have been high. And watch the passes, them fellas just passing back the ball to City.
Yeah.
Come on. You know what I mean? At least have that confidence that you're not even defending. So at least, all right, them fellas defending rubbish, but you always see my confidence high. I gonna pull this team out of the gutter. And then
Yeah.
when it reaches you, it's the same rubbish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah,
If
I think
not more.
I think it's a real fragility mentally throughout the team that when one head drop, like it's like a domino effect now. You know that
Yeah.
affecting everybody. Um, and I guess that second, the first goal was bad. Yes, I think yellow card kind of set up that whole thing. The first yellow card. The first goal was bad. The second goal, to me, that was real tough in terms of Varane having to be off the field at that moment. I think we'd have gotten a bit of stability after that. But you see, after that goal, well, that was it. That was it. Them fell actually the towel and it was all
Yeah.
downhill. It was all downhill from
When it rains, it pours, boy.
it was all downhill from
It's always poor when it raining by we. We don't get a passing cloud. All right. Phil. So check this, right? So this was a statement, one of the many statements Ten Hag made at the end of the game when he was asked about Cristiano non-featuring today. He said, "I wouldn't bring him in out of respect for Cristiano, his big career." Where you make of that?
CR would have added nothing to today's game.
There's
Yeah.
frustration. He has to be
It's
frustrated
Rashford.
on the field. He has to frustrate everybody on the field.
It's funny
It didn't
because
take no genius to figure that out.
it's funny because we were about 3 or 4 goals down, and the camera immediately pointed at
On
Casemiro
Cristiano.
doing this here. Doing this here.
Listen, Ronaldo face was beast, you know.
Yeah,
Ronaldo would have contributed nothing.
nothing.
Yeah.
There's negativity. I guess. See, that contribute negativity.
Akanji would have bullied him off.
Yeah.
For crying out loud, men from Sheriff bully off Ronaldo in the Europa League. What defenders are Man City gonna do? Them nigga put him in his back pocket, and Ronaldo's career is slowly on the decline. You know, a lot of people need to come to facts with that. Cristiano Ronaldo.
Unless just to add to that, unless Ronaldo is playing consistent football, playing Ronaldo as a stop, come off the bench, it's not gonna work. Let's be real, it's not.
The only thing I want Ronaldo to do is because he's on what
699.
699 goals. I just want him to score that one goal, make it 800. I clap him, and then do your thing afterwards. But
Yeah.
in terms of what Ten Hag said, this is something a politician would say to not say
To pacify.
exactly. I said to pacify the bruise, right? So yeah, at the end of the day, I think we all can see that Rashford, Sancho, and
Marcel.
Anthony. Well, before Markel came on, Rashford, Sancho, and Anthony, they were just chasing shadows, man. And those guys are half Ronaldo's age. If Ronaldo had to come on,
The ball wasn't coming to them. Ronaldo would have get, as you all say, Ronaldo would have get frustrated and make everybody because the ball was not coming to them.
Yeah. And as I was saying, I think Martial coming on and score the 2 goals. I think that his confidence would do much more to the team than even if Ronaldo came on and scored 2 goals, because I think Martial is more of a focal point for this team than Ronaldo would be for the rest of the season. So
And
I
you
think
know what?
Martial coming on doing well, I think that'll be good for United.
It basically, and Martial coming on and score, basically give, the coach decision even more stats that, hey, I was right to bring him on.
Correct.
I got add one more thing. Like, if we did approach today's derby as a low block team, right? most teams who play low block well, they have a target man up top who is very physical. Could be a
Yeah.
Ivan Tony, a Zlatan, a Drogba. CR isn't that type
Nah.
of striker.
Nah.
So,
Yeah, and I know what was kind of good to see today is that we win a penalty. When last we win a penalty in the box again?
A good penalty.
Yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
Martial.
Good
That's
call.
Martial.
Good call. Yeah, good call. Good call by the referee.
Yeah,
I'll give him that. It was a good call.
and the penalty was a top quality penalty too.
Yeah,
fellas.
yeah.
Top,
Remember,
I-
remember it's no
I-
pressure. You know?
level.
Remember it's no pressure. Remember with no pressure and pressure is two different things. Remember you done six.
Let me do go there. That's a quality penalty.
No, I no pressure.
Full stop.
Remember, I have to remember these
Nico.
players naturally quality players. So with no
Nico,
pressure,
do not
you-
wile the man,
He
please.
could have hit a
Nico,
chip like Dwight York and scored a goal today. So he confident us. Well, I mean, no pressure.
the man. I proud of Reem so far. He has been able to keep all his fanboyisms in check. Leave the man, please.
Yeah, he trying to rile me, but I ain't going to try and take that bit from Nico.
No, but no pressure.
Not this evening.
Dream, no pressure, no pressure.
Nah, but
No
Martial,
pressure.
next, so we started Martial next game then.
Of course.
Yeah.
I hope so. But who
And
we
we're
jumping?
jumping.
Who we jumping? Rashford?
I feel
Sancho,
Sancho could lose his pick now because Sancho looking
Boy,
200 right now.
Sancho looking okay in some games, but I feel Rashford and Sancho is the most inconsistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
then
we got
Rashford
him.
coming off a player the month too.
And
So-
Sancho had a pretty good month too, eh?
Yeah, not bad. But I think Rashford has given the team a little more sometimes. A little more effort.
So you're saying the right winger can't get dropped.
Nah, after that goal he scored today and that performance today, he not getting dropped by
Wow, that was a quality goal today, boy. That was
not
quality.
getting dropped.
Nah, the boy good, he good.
Yeah, he
I mean,
No, and the thing about it is the second half. What I'm saying is that second half performance, defensively where he was, how he was helping out with Dallo, and then
Yeah.
I actually see he was trying stuff. He was,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it's because he was actually seeing more of the ball as well. Because sometimes he just stand up biting that line, and I don't know if it's based on instructions, but he don't get as much as you want. And by the time he get the ball, it's because 3 men are wrong him, and he don't want to lose possession. So you go do the basics. Try to get the basics right now. But today it seems as though Ten Hag tell him, "Hey, do what you gotta do."
Yeah.
He pull out Ollie on Anthony and say, "Go there and express
he
yourself."
say, come inside and
Did they say how long Varane is out for?
Well, it's a sprained ankle.
Yeah, it's sprained.
They'll assess it tomorrow.
So he ain't
tomorrow,
playing in Europa this week.
Definitely
Nah,
not.
of course not.
From past experience with me getting sprained ankles, it was at least 7 to 10 days.
Yeah,
That's just
I think for the Everton game, I personally feel for the Everton game when you come back.
All right, good. Because
Maguire not out still, right?
he should be back. He should be back. He should be back for midweek.
for Europa?
I feel so. Yeah, I feel so.
Europa.
We just get some comments here, guys. Jody saying here, Rashi confidence take a turn from not being selected for England, but he was injured. I
He
wasn't
was
even selected, I
injured.
think.
Yeah.
He was injured.
Well, since you mentioned politicians, it's Rowley fault we lose today. They were just saying here you saw his Ronaldo doctor statement. He confirmed he is going through depression after the loss of his son, and people need to understand he is human. Okay, so that's with Ronaldo. Okay. Jody saying here, Reem Relk.
Welcome. Seeing that
Yeah.
the boys got today.
No, because I know the quality, and I just learn it and let it talk and eat other words.
We'll know his quality. That's why he played for Manchester United.
Right. So I guess allowing all the things to other words now. Right. So
He just needs to be
I
consistent.
just be
That's all we
quiet.
need.
Right.
That's all we want.
They were just saying here top
Penalty.
top penalty. Martial to the world. Yeah, Martial to the world. All right. I ain't gonna get ahead of myself, right? Because I can get injured. They were just saying here Rashford on the wing is a different player than back to goal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Javid on the inside, good night, buddy. Thanks for joining, man. You're late. Draw the line under this one. Marcel up front, Rush on the wing. How do we get Anthony more involved? And that's what we were talking about. And we saw that in the
The
second
other
half.
wing.
Second half today. Right? Joey saying here, Anthony just showing earlier what to do on his way to winning World Cup this year. Yeah, Brazil man. I hear you.
Yeah, he gotta get ahead of Rafinha to do that though.
Rafinha and Vinny Jr.
Might gonna get ahead of Rafinha, Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo. Yeah.
Yeah, Richarlison.
Now
All of them
Richarlison
ahead
up
of.
top.
Oh, yeah,
Nah, not Richarlison.
Yeah.
You ahead of Richarlison.
No, Richarlison not playing on
Playing
top.
at different position.
Yeah, different
On top.
position. Yeah, them
Yeah.
competing for the same position.
Up top is Richarlison, Firmino, Jesus.
Jesus Jesus they get picked on that squad by.
But if he continue this form between
He will.
now and the end of the month,
He giving
I
them
could
something to
I could
think
see him
about.
jumping out too, Nico, because
Yeah.
Gabriel Jesus playing a real mean number 9 role.
Yeah.
So fellas,
But to me, the mere fact he not in the squad, like maybe the coach. You
Don't
know what I
fancy
mean?
him?
Unless somebody really get injured or something. But
who's
to
the
me,
Brazilian
if-
coach? What's his name? Titi? Is Titi or Tata or something?
TT or whatever.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, Titi.
Was
Yes.
Barca coach?
Nah.
No?
No, that's the wrong Tito. That's the wrong
Yeah.
one. But I know who Chef talking about though. Yeah.
That is really bad. Yeah.
Okay.
Come after they stand friendlies again is World Cup.
Yeah, after
Hey,
his World Cup. Yeah.
Question. I'll call a name that it had nothing to do with this game, but it's like we often hear Van der Beek name called. He injured or
Van
something?
der Beek.
He injured.
Yeah.
Still?
He got injured in the international break.
Nah, he was
And
injured
he-
before that.
No, but
Oh,
No,
he
he got
trained.
injured in the international break.
He didn't training with the club because he was with the club. He didn't play.
I
play-
hear any injury news about Van der Beek.
He injured as well.
But we don't hear nothing.
Simeon that's trying to stir up thing now, you know.
We don't hear nothing.
I
about-
mean,
we don't hear about Van der Beek at all.
We need midfielders, and he is a midfielder, but he's fine, can't play. I mean, another guy we buy that we can't use. I mean,
That's
we gonna do
sorry
with Van der
about
Beek?
it. If Van der Beek don't get no game time between now and winter transfer window, boy, Van der Beek.
Yeah, he gone.
he has to go.
He had to
He
go.
has to
Yeah,
go.
he had to go.
Because he looking to be on our World Cup squad.
He ain't making a World Cup squad.
That's what I'm telling you, Van der Beek injured.
He ain't making a World Cup squad.
I mean, if Martial could come back all the time and play and score 2 goals, I can't understand how Van der Beek can be injured. Like, it
But
seemed like
even
the
if
whole
Van
year.
der Beek was 100% fit, he wasn't even making the bench.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
don't
Like,
make the bench, Nico. He just means a little
He went
wicked
down.
boy.
He went down.
You forget Nico have plenty love for Van der Beek, eh?
I mean, I just want resolved. I want to know if he's good or he's not good. And if he's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
good,
for real.
Yeah,
If
just-
he a good, sell him. Let him go January. Let him go back Everton or something.
What is the latest? What is the latest on Mason?
Nothing yet. Nothing yet. We are here,
Nothing. You know what
nothing.
he's right now.
Yeah.
He's still on bail.
So, anyway, guys, so we're looking at the time, and we had to bring the show to a close. So, let me get some closing thoughts now, fellas. Nico?
Yeah, tough day at the office, but I'm going with Phil. If the next 8 games is W's, then if you ask me about this game today, I don't know what we're talking about. You forget the 6. The what? I can't remember. Or the 2 Martial score, I can remember. I can remember. I can't remember nothing else. Right? Yeah, I can remember. I guess some big scores from Haaland a game, but I can't remember which game it was. Right? But I know remember fantasy, I captained him in my game and he scored a hat-trick. But I can't remember which
47 points.
out of the many hat-tricks he scored for the season so far, the 3rd hat-trick, I can't remember which one it was.
I even want to talk about fantasy now.
Boy, if you had Trossard and Phil Foden in your fantasy boy, points.
Man, I have been on a roll. I have been on a roll in fantasy, and I don't know who tell me. Oh God, Manchester playing Manchester City. I'm gonna bring in Salah and captain him.
Oh
I was so
God.
mad.
Yeah. So go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
Yeah. So as everybody said, you know, you pick up yourself and you go again. What was the team we play? It was Brentford, and we didn't run enough, so he make we run. I hope he make them run tomorrow.
No,
But I
no,
think he say
you had to like Hitler, boy. You had to put them in front of that TV screen and just brainwash them, right? So that's what we need to do.
because he said today that the issue wasn't running.
Yeah.
So he said you don't think he'll have to go to that because the issue wasn't like a running.
Oh, so he
rate
said
today.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in front of TV and just
So
brainwash them.
Man just
Tell them
have
down,
to
let them
pick
think
up
they know
yourself.
blah, blah, blah.
Let us get a good win this week in Europa, and then go and beat Everton, and continue that, and just go for the rest of the month. But we have a pretty favorable schedule.
Do you find so?
Plenty games. It's a lot of games. But it's teams we can
we have
win.
Spurs, we have
Chelsea.
Newcastle.
We beat Newcastle is the team to look out for. We
Boy,
beaten
what
Chelsea. We beaten Spurs.
We can't be too cocky, eh? Chef.
I'm not being cocky. I just talking based on watching them two. Do you watch them two teams play?
Nah,
Boy.
but them teams come out and play different against United.
Because United has allowed it to be so.
Yeah, we hope we are allowed this time.
Yeah.
Simeon?
I mean, you just gotta realize that when we got beat for a better team, I mean, I think coming into the season, our mind was on rebuilding, getting a sense of, style of play, so you kind of step back and you realize what we're looking for. You can see that we are nowhere near City and it wasn't, likely we would win today. But these next few games coming up, I mean, we've won 4 games before that. We look pretty decent. As long as we continue doing that, I mean, as long as we can get, Martial back in, get Anthony, get the whole rotation of strikers playing well, because we have a full lineup of strikers, 3 on the bench, 3 on the field. And if we could somehow fix our midfield and get Casemiro playing more often and used to the speed of the game, we should be okay.
Yeah, Phil?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not really Man United related, but still Man United related, because I realized a lot of non-Man United fans were able to find me when we got the defeat today, right? I really hope they keep the same energy when they got to face City as well too, right?
Yep.
They don't hide from their social media, right? Because I was all over social media today, before the game, during the game, and after the game, and they found me. So whoever watching this,
Listen,
or watching it on replay, I hope when you guys got to play City at Etihad, right? You keep the same energy as well too, right? But bad day at the office and 3 points drop. That's how I see it, and we move.
Yeah. One of the things that was important for us was that Liverpool win after the Brentford defeat. That Liverpool that win was so important in kind of spurring the fragile confidence.
Yeah.
On. So for me, it's always about the next game after
The next
defeat.
one. Agreed.
Yeah, and I'm not really talking about the Europa League, but mostly Everton game.
Yeah.
Right, because I think that's the game that if we could put out a good result with performance, that will kind of get us back on track. We want to win the game on Tuesday, right? But you see that Everton game, that the game are looking at for us to get back on track, right? And have it going from there and get back the momentum and try to for some kind of unbeaten run or something and get get ourselves back in order and move up the table. So that Everton game for me important. So
Just want to beat Lampard. So yeah.
Yeah.
If you're just saying here, Everton is food looking at 4-0. I hope so. I hope so because they beat Southampton, eh? So
Yeah.
they you know, and with Ghana and Onana.
Everton very up on them.
No, but
See,
they're
but
now catching back and they get back Ghana and Onana.
Ghana started it.
Not Ghana. I mean Idris Ghana Gainer.
Okay, okay.
From
Yeah.
PSG, yeah.
yeah, I think I mean, what Karim said is important. Like, results and performance. Like, we want to beat Everton, but we want to play it the Ten Hag way. Like, can we play against an Everton team that's not great by any real standards and beat them the way Ten Hag wants to play? Wants to play. Like, that's the test. The test for us. Like, can we win playing Ten Hag way? And how good, and come off the field feeling good about how we played. I mean, as long as we can do that, we should be okay. I mean, it's progress, going through a season.
Yeah. The Dion on the inside. Thanks for joining, Dion. Good night. Today was FC Martial that we're talking about. Fred had a
nice
good,
cameo.
yeah, Fred had a decent cameo, man.
Fred
Yeah,
came on.
man. Yeah.
So they want to by anyhow, and that's good answer. So let's go.
Right. So, fellas, we have come to the end of the show. And again, an evening to forget. And echoing Nico and Phil on this one. If down the road, if we win the next 8 games, nobody can study this result. The only thing we're going to be pulling from this game is the 2 goals Martial score. Right? All we pulling from this game. That's all we remembering. Alright?
Ah boy.
And a quality penalty. That's a quality penalty.
And no pressure, boy. And no pressure.
It had no way. Pressure, no pressure. It had no way Ederson was saving that.
And the stream, please. And the podcast, please.
Hey, Oliver look like you're vexed to get a penalty,
You say, oh God, this man will come back to win penalties with his team, boy. Why they could lose?
You good at that? You good at that? You can win a penalty?
What you mean?
Yeah, he can win a penalty.
Yeah, he elusive too.
Yeah.
He had the wap.
Yeah, he bad.
And he know to show it up too now to sell it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, fellas.
Yeah, level of predictability.
Yeah. So, guys, it was nice. The show, not necessarily the result.
Definitely not the result.
Yeah. And we will be here again on Tuesday looking to wrap up this where's the name of that team from and where they from? Yeah, wherever they're from. Right?
Well, we need to be there.
Yeah, we need to put them to the sword. And we travel and we will be on the travels come Tuesday. So we will see how that goes. Alright? So guys, Europa League action on Tuesday. See y'all then. One more thing going. This one, right? Yeah.